Good morning and welcome to Nathan's Garage. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the channel and seeing which next station this crazy train stops at. Let's see. The tank mount, yes, we're going to swap it out. It's now Tuesday and I've given myself a goal of having the bed on by Friday, so it's probably going to take most of the day. Planning, I'm like, oh, this will take half an hour, but it rarely does that ever happen. Now, one of my weaknesses is I love the way OEMs work. That's why I like putting OEM stuff under other stuff, but the actual bones is OEM, always works. Thus this has all the mounts in the right place. So whenever I have a situation like I want to do something like this, I'm like, okay, I'll take a measurement of those mounts and then I'll take a measurement of the strap mount at the top and then I'll make it and it'll not be in the right place. Never is. So what I'm thinking of doing is leaving everything as it is and cutting out a piece of box section to kind of like French in to this area while it's all tight and up. And then that box section will run across all the way across the bottom and then go vertically straight up to the frame itself. That is my game plan right now. And then the top mount, what we can do is, it's mounted off that beam right there. So I can chop that down, put it back on, and get an idea of what I want to do as to make it lower. So I've got another, 2.5, 3 inches to play with for the hump being slightly lower and there being a bit more bedroom. You see, this is why stuff takes me a long time. Because this is Wife Tastic's dad's workbench that he built, which is amazing and is surviving my abuse spectacularly well. And this is the vise he had on it forever. And looking at this vise, it weighs about 1,000 pounds and it jammed up. Basically, there's play at the back, so just clearanced it. And I was looking on Harbour Freight and all that kind of stuff for vices, and it's just, nah, it just ain't the same. So now I've got to fix this. So that's why that takes longer. Just how it is. Okay, I suppose this should be one of those million views fixer vice videos. There you go, done. Okay, and now we have the quality steel. Again, some of the Mutt's lifting gantry that we're going to French those two mounts into. So these two ain't long enough, so I'm going to have to join them together. And then we'll French the two mounts into these and then mount those to the frame. So that's the general idea for the Frenching, as it were. Those two humps that the actual straps go down and under are going to go into here, weld around there, and then that's going to get welded to the frame. So I've just got to make it less like it's been in the back garden for 2 years. Whew, that took a minute. Yep, okay, so it's fairly heavily pitted in some places, so it's going to get painted with some kind of like rust sealant, rust preventative, and then wax oiled inside. English people or anybody from a rainy place will know what wax oil is, but like a cavity wax, well, cavity wax is going to be going everywhere, but especially in here. Okay, let's see how she fits. Here we are. So that's going to get chopped, so it looks all pretty. It's long now, so that's fine. That's welded on both sides of the mount, which is inserted in, like we said. Same the other side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline with marker where they need to be welded, and then drop everything, keep the tank in place on axle stands, jack stands, something like that, and then when we're all down to the bare bones of what we need, put it back up, put it within the lines, burn it in. Right, all bolts are undone on this thing. We've marked with marker where they're going to be welded, and straps are off. Let's see how this comes off now. Now, my biggest battle at all times when doing something like this is patience. And the wiggling, every single wiggle just wears away a little bit. And then after that wiggle, every pull gets a little bit harder, if you know what I mean. This is a classic situation of it won't come out and you have no idea why. Everything you look at, it's clear and not hooked. like to call this the journey to happy days. I'm not happy just yet, but progressing down the road. And then we have movement on one side, and you pull it on the other and it twists back. And there is no reason for that to happen. All the while trying to keep the tank as static as possible because it's got gas in it. Obviously it's got gas in it. And I've not had the gauge on for ages, so I've no idea how much gas is in there. So we don't want that to drop or fall. Falling would be really inconvenient. That is one time Wagtastic would not be nice to me. Which is ultimately supportive, but it has its upper limits. I can't tell you what the moments are going through my mind at the moment. You can see Huxley in the background looking worried. I sense victory is near. Yes. Well, the thing is, so I thought I was victorious. Watch this. And I now realise that because that's there, I can't go up because this is on the inside. So looks like I'm going to have to chop here, and I can possibly manipulate. Absolutely zero idea what I'm going to be doing now. I'm just going to try and trim, see where we end up. Okay, I suppose before we stick it on, basically I just trimmed it. Left a few of the spot welds, just put some bits of tacks across the top. I mean, there's crap in between the two skins, so the welds ain't great, but you know, it's better than nothing. And there's 4 spots on the bottom, and then just seamed it, and then the front, welded it on. So definitely onto this bar. I've just realized once we support, don't fall off, once we support the front like this will do, we need something for the back. Just realized that it's kind of completely encased. Didn't think of that. Okay. So originally I thought losing that cross member here, which is what that strap bolts into, was going to gain me a couple of inches here, but the tank is taller. So I think I'm just going to trim it. I'm just going to trim it out. I'm going to just trim it down the sides. So it's just like a single cross member, and then I've got the bolt into bit, then the back will be welded on. Just got to figure out whatever's going to go on up here, and then that cross member, we'll use it for some kind of bed mount. You ever think something's not going to just be way bigger of a job than you thought it was going to be, and just there was just scattered death everywhere? Now this is it. Okay, so that's ready to go in, and trim this cross member down. So that, it's gonna sit right there. But I think that's the front, as far as I can tell off that bit down there. So we'll stick that on, and then start to mock this up. This is very surprising indeed. These are tight, like big impact tight. And it's not that tight. Interesting. Didn't expect that. How long do you think it took me to figure out that this thing was coming out of that hole, and it was a return vent into the chassis leg? That was definitely an end of the day pull it. We'll see if we can recognize where the other end came from. It came from nowhere. How misleading. Okay, so that is in. It's got to tighten up the front 2 bolts on the straps. That's welded in. Probably gonna cut those just at an angle. I think I'm gonna keep that box open, put some holes on the bottom, and then we can fill it with cavity wax like we said before. Got a hole on that side, just for the factory look, for no reason. For lightweight race truck, possible race truck, you know? So I think tomorrow, something like we'll run bar up there, hook it over the top, bar up there, hook it over the top, and then brace it down to the chassis legs and possibly across the back, and then that'll stop it coming this way and up. So that'll be that, and then that'll be that done, because every aspect of that movement will be covered. This could be a very good front start for kind of like a secret compartment trunk. Never done that before, but you know, who knows? All right, well, we are tight on space, so we'll get her down. Cal. This is Cal. We'll get him down and finish that off tomorrow, and then start building the bed. It is now Tuesday, so tomorrow, Wednesday, we're making pretty good on track progress. From really not having an idea what my game plan was going to be, I think I'm happy. So cross member made by you know who, chopped off the original sling mounts, Frenched them into that cross member, chopped up the original Crown Vic mount, put that on, because for me the lip's just as high. I suppose I could have dropped the tank, but maybe in the future, but not now. And then we needed to keep the tank in the cradle, so this crossbar just goes straight across, welded on, and then a hook that goes over the top to keep it in place if it rolls over, I guess. I assume that's what it's for. Well, you know what? I think it's bedtime. I like to say I planned this, but look at that. Those clip back on the side of whatever ventilation and regulation and pressure reading system this is. Now that was going to the EVAP, which obviously no longer exists. Look at the turn down. That's funny. And that's it for that one. I promise you the bed is next. Look, we're doing good. The bed's next. And it's very exciting. It looks so good. Thanks for watching. See you next time.